We got Jordan in the background. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon for the West Coasters. Good early evening for those on the East Coast. Thank you so much for kicking it with us once we're back after extended layoff, after extended time of off for retrieve and relaxation during these summer months of August. And we have a booming way, a grand way that we're coming back with our conversations start this week with friend and brother Mark J. Quann. Please look him up on Facebook, Instagram. Check out his book. We talked to you about that resource, top 10 ways to avoid paying taxes, and Rich Man Poor Bank. Our organization has those books available as well. If you email us at hurting@gmail.com, we'll do our level best to get that to you. In addition to that, we want to invite you to our conversations that we'll be having all week long. We want to invite you to our conversations that we'll be having all week long, starting with today on Money Matters, and then on tomorrow. And then on tomorrow, we'll have a conversation with you as well on the subject of the importance of creatives pulling their content. An actor and all-around creative, Jeremy Tardy, who is a member of our church, has been on several shows. Latest controversy with his presence and his ongoing partnership with Netflix and the show Dear White People. But he has been on various shows, and we want to have a candid conversation about that. That's Hollywood, that's acting, that's in all forms and spheres of life that is. So we want to have that conversation. Then on Wednesday, Wonderful Wednesday, my friend and sister Erica Hardy will be here. She decided as a Christian single woman to have a child via IVF, and so we're going to have that conversation about our process, how she went around that decision-making process, pros and cons, difficulties, and so on. Theological therapist, Pastor Wayne Cooper, one of our leading pastors in the Los Angeles area. We talk all things God, politics, and life. But on today, Mark, you got a little feedback coming from your end. We want to turn something down that way. But on today, we want to talk about the importance of money. We have set aside these Mondays to have those conversations on the topic of money. We have set aside these days to have that conversation. We want those that are a part of us that listen to this context to be Proverbs 3, 9, and 10 people that honor the Lord with their wealth, with the first fruits of all their increase, so the barns will be filled with plenty, vats will be bursting with wine. A lot of times when we talk about that from a Christian perspective, from a church perspective, we solely talk about the giving aspect of it to the church, and tithes, offering, sowing, all these other concepts and notions about financial giving, terminologies that will be used. And oftentimes we forget about the other 90% in the case of tithes, or the other percentage. How are you managing your money? How are you paying your bills? How are you readying for retirement? And today we're having a specific conversation on investing. Today we're having a specific conversation on investing, and we have one of the greatest minds to have such a conversation with us on today. He is one that has written on the topic. He is one that's actively in it with his company. And I want to also prepare us a little bit later. Our producer will put up the information that we'll be promoting for this Saturday. On this Saturday, it'll be a hands-on webinar that we're going to talk about in detail at the end of our time together on this hands-on webinar to discuss in detail very much so how you can be a part of this. If you are at that financial security place, you're at that place where you have resources to invest. We'll talk about how to know if you're at that place as well. Certainly you don't want to use your rent money, your mortgage money. Hold off on that, Jordan. We'll put that up on the end. So we want to hold off on your rent money or any of your other necessities. But dear Christian friend, dear friends that are listening, if you do have those resources put aside, those fiscal resources put aside, we want to show you how to make your money work for you. And with all that being said, with those introductory matters being presented to you, I want to say hello to our guests who were just with us on last night. He's going to get tired of us in a minute. He'll be with us on Saturday. We want to promote him, his resources, his books, and thank him for his expertise and information. Mark, how you doing?
I'm good. Just good seeing you since yesterday. It's been already yesterday since we chatted, so hopefully you're not getting any feedback. But yeah, I'm just back. I'm home for the next hour, and then I'm off to the beach this afternoon. So I'm going to go spend the afternoon at the beach. And I just wanted, I'm excited to talk to you guys today. And I'm happy you brought up the thing of tithing and things. We're all going to make money in our lives, but it's what we choose to do with it, right? And you got to so tithe 10%, but that next 10% should go in investing toward building and securing your financial future, right? And you have to have the priorities of living on 80% of your money, right? And if you can do that, then anybody can really win investing. But it's really got to come down to those fundamentals of why are you going to make money? What do you do with your money when you make it? Where is it going to go, right? If it's going to go more to your church, more to investing, more to securing your financial future, that's really important. We call this investing with purpose. You do have to have a purpose with what you do with your money. Otherwise, it just kind of goes. This money goes fast, right? So you want to be able to learn. You want to learn to make money work for you. You can work your entire life for money, or you can have money work for you. And these are some of the most basic fundamental things that I started learning 20 years ago. When I didn't know anything, I just take those simple things and say, all right, I got to apply this and learn. So I hope to provide a lot of value for you guys today. And I'm excited to work with you, Pastor Hurt, because you're like a student of learning also, and that's good. I know I don't know everything either, and it's good to work with people that are excited to learn, and that's why I'm excited to work with you.
Well, thanks, Mark. I'm excited to work with you as well. As I told you on yesterday, my nephew was, when I gave out the books to my family when I was in Detroit recently, he's like, the author? So you had me feeling special amongst my family. So thank you for that. Those of you that are listening, please like this page. If you're on Facebook, please like this page. Please share this page. Mark, talk to us about it. You did such a wonderful job speaking on it, starting with the 10% to the Lord and 10% into your future. In fact, starting on Sunday, we're going through a series based off of that mentality with sowing into God's kingdom, not specifically dealing with the tithe and 10%. We'll get into different facets of different, but we are going to talk about proportional giving. But then investing for the future, which you just talked about, paying yourself. Some other people will put it that way, pay God. And then on our third week, we're going to talk about, spending money for your expenses, for your living expenses, how you need a budget, how you need to make sure what percentage of your money should go towards a mortgage, towards a car, what percentage of it should go towards this and that, and how do you even try to bring that down to get to that fourth step of sharing with others, that sharing component of it. And I want those that are listening to know that Mark wanted to do this for free for our listeners and for those that were interested. And I compelled him to, which we'll talk about in a letter to later, to charge a nominal fee for the webinar so that people will understand the necessity of making an investment in themselves as far as for information. And when you make that fiscal investment, you and I both know, and I'm talking to the listeners as well, know that we take it more serious when we make that fiscal investment. And so I thank you for consenting to do that. But again, Mark, I want to ask you a question as it relates to investment. Tell us about what you say to your customers, what you say to those that you're advising, to help them understand investment as a necessary expense.
Yeah, it really comes down to the fundamentals and again, why you're doing it and what you prioritize. I can tell you that there's a great quote by Buffett, right? And he says, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until the day that you die. That should be enough incentive to, figure out how to invest and save for your future. It's I don't think Social Security is going to be around anymore. And if you look at all the people that are living off of Social Security and they can barely pay their bills, that's in trouble. And you're going to need you need a higher level of financial literacy just to live the same level your parents and grandparents did, I think, because at least your parents had Social Security and these other things and pensions. But you just need a higher level of financial IQ to live at the same level that previous generations did. And the great part is, that's the bad news. The great part is you have infinite access to financial literacy. And sometimes you may pay for it. Sometimes you can get it for free off of YouTube and off the internet. So that's the great news. There's lots of tools, and we want to talk to you about some of the tools and some of the things that you can use to build wealth. My goal is to build wealth in the stock market and then move it to real estate. That's my thing, right? I'm going to build wealth now because it's easier with the pandemic. People don't understand that it's easier with a pandemic to build wealth because things were bad and they're going to get better. Makes sense. And then I'm going to move that money to real estate. So that's my goal right now. And I think that's a good goal. But if you don't understand how to make money in a pandemic or something like that, or how to make money when the economy is bad, that's the best time to do it. You're going to miss it in your entire life. You have many opportunities where the economy is going to be good, and it's going to be bad. It's always going to go up, and it's always going to go down, right? It's going to keep going up and keep going down. You just have to have an idea. And what you learn maybe in the next couple weeks, couple months, you'll know how to apply that the next time there's a downturn in the market. And then you can make better rates of returns on your money. So it's just getting that financial literacy and knowing that you really do need to set up passive income streams in your future. You need to set up something that's going to build enough money so you don't need to work anymore, and then you don't need to worry about money. So absolutely.
Well, we're wanting to bring you in, and what you reached out to me about was stock options and ETFs and investing in those. We hear the term stocks. We hear the concept of Wall Street. Some of us may even take in the class, watch the webinar, YouTube video or so on about it. Tell us a little bit about that before we get into what you'll share in the teaching. Just tell us the fundamentals of what a stock is, what a stock option is, what an index is, and what an ETF is.
Okay. First of all, you mentioned the word Wall Street. It just triggered something. So I did a video a few years ago about, there's a guy, I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name is Curtis Wall Street Carroll. I don't know if you ever heard of him before, but he's a pretty inspiring guy because he was African-American kid. He was 17 and he was robbing a house, and somebody got killed in the house. Jail for 50
Wall Street. Yeah, check out his YouTube list. Wall Street.
Yeah. So if you can sit in San Quentin, and he had to teach himself to read first, and then he had to teach himself what a stock was in San Quentin, and then he had to read books and teach himself first how to read, and then how the stock market works in San Quentin. Right. So it kind of inspired me. I'm like, wow, this is great. I love this guy. So I'm a big fan of Curtis Wall Street Carroll, first of all, and it shows that if you just set your mind on learning this subject. But yeah, again, it comes down to the basics. We talked about this yesterday. You have to take the words and you have to Google them and say, what does that word mean? So what does an index mean? An index is just a measure of something. You could measure the index of the cost of groceries, right? So an index is something like what you guys have probably heard, S&P 500. It's just 500 stocks. They go up and down. It's just the value, all the value of those goes down, up and down every single day. That's an index. It just measures a value. So there's some, the NASDAQ, that's more tech stocks. It measures the value of those things. That's just an index. And you can buy an index fund. I think that's the best way for most investors to start. Just buy an index fund. It's an easy thing to buy. It's not too up or down, and it's the fundamentals, right? And I think now is a good time to buy something like that because we just had it was a big recovery in the market, and then it went down. That's usually called a correction, and then it usually goes up again. Also, we came out of September. September is the worst month of the year to be in the market, so we're coming out of September. We have a lot of momentum, in my opinion, on to make some decent money here. So that's an index fund. A stock would just be buying one stock, right? You could have, FedEx in an index, right? The index of FedEx maybe won that stock. You may have more risk, but you also have a lot more reward in buying one stock. And anybody can do that. Now, if a stock was $300 a share, you can buy half a share of stock these days. That's all these things we never used to be able to do. You can buy partial shares of a stock. So you could even put $100 into a stock, even if a stock costs $300 right now. You can do that these days. Fractional shares, it just makes it so you have the ability to get in and enter the game of investing at any amount, and then you get to choose your risk tolerance. Do you want a stock where there may be more risk? Do you want an index fund where you're going to have less volatility? Or you can, then even next you have something called a leveraged ETF. An ETF is just like a bucket, but they put options in it. You're going to get higher, and then there's something called a stock option. And a stock option is tend to be much more risk, much more reward. You can buy the stock, or you can buy a piece of paper called a call option. And that's when you buy a call, you're betting up, and then you're betting that price of that stock is going to rise over a period of time. So you could say, I think the stock is going to go up between now and April, or I think the stock is going to go up between now and could be 2 years down the road. So you can buy these pieces of paper that bet a long-term or a short-term period of time that the stock price is going to go up in value. So you can buy all those different things. So different levels of investing. It obviously depends on, now when should you not be trading? If you have credit card debt at high interest rates, focus on getting out of credit card debt. Get rid of all your credit card debt. If you have debt, auto loans at high interest rates, we need to put together a plan for you to get rid of the credit card debt, pay all that stuff off, get your cash flow up, get rid of any bad debt you have. And then once you have discretionary income and an emergency fund, then you want to start looking at investing. But do all those other things first before you really jump into investing. And then, I don't want people coming into trading when they have credit card at 30%. It doesn't make any sense. You're better off, you can earn 30% by paying your credit card off, right? That's an easy 30% return. So.
And with that being said, the webinar that we're offering on Saturday, which Mark will lead, is going to go into detail about that. We will present the information via Facebook and Instagram for you to refer. Zoom link, we'll get that to you. It's $50. We're asking for you to have at least $2,000 to invest. It's hands-on learning webinar. We can put that information up there for people to see. We'll add a postcard there. Investing with a purpose, that'll be 2 p.m. Pacific. Those that are listening in Central Time, that will be 4 p.m. And those that are with us on Eastern Time Zone, East Coast Stand Up, in place at 5 p.m. And this notion of investing with a purpose, it started right there. What Mark just talked about is key. Not for everybody. Everybody's not financially in a place to do so. You're not able to do that just yet. If you want other information and things that you can do, you want to email Mark, Quann at gmail.com, MARKJ, the letter J, QUANN, and he will go over those other steps of how to bring down debt, how to low interest rates on your credit cards, consolidating debt, managing your money basic, to get you ready for this level. This is not the level that everyone will be on. And so there is a $50 fee for that. And the $50 fee for this webinar is from a fiscal standpoint, it's challenging to you, then the webinar probably is not for you. It's $2,000 to invest, no guarantee of any return. It's skills, it's information, it's walking you through the process where you can see it. But history is on the side of a return. History is on the side of the information. And if things go wrong in this area, there's probably something bigger going on in our society that's much deeper than the 2K that you have or so that you may have at these ETF or stock options. And something myself, I am excited about getting on and getting that information to many of you. We will dial up personally to get you in that framework, get that information. So that's Saturday, on Zoom. We'll get you the registration. There is a fee connected to that, and we'll get that to you. Mark, anything you want to add to that?
I don't think so. I think that now is a great time to invest. I'm telling you, there's people always want to invest in, and when the markets have been going up for a long time, you could talk to people that are starting out to investing, and they may have started in 2019, and the stock market made 30% in 2019, and people would think, wow, that would have been a great time to invest. But I wasn't invested in the stock market in 2019, just because it had been going up for so long. I knew it was eventually going to crash. I didn't know what it was going to cause it to. I was not in it in the 2019 at all. So yeah, I missed that 30%. But then coronavirus happened, and then I saw opportunities. I did a video on right when coronavirus happened, and I basically said, yes, the stock market's going to crash, but don't freak out. So don't sell. And a lot of people were selling, and I said, look, don't sell. This is going to be an opportunity for people. And, and then, the people that bought right when the fear was the highest. See, to be an investor, you have to manage, especially in the stock market, you have to manage two things: fear and greed. Fear and greed. And if you can manage those things, and hopefully, not make decisions based on that, you can become a successful investor. What I really like about the investing and why we're doing this seminar right now is a lot of things are in our favor. Okay. One, we just came out of a major recession. Okay. Now, when the economy comes out of a major recession, the stock market usually does really, really well for many years after. So that's one thing that's in our favor. Two, we just came out of September. September was a bad month for the stock market. Okay. That means it's good for us. It's another thing in our favor. There's a gauge it's actually on CNN, fear and greed. Google CNN, fear and greed. It looks at these 7 fundamentals in the market that measure fear, overall fear. When fear is high, you want to buy because that's when people are scared. When fear is low and people are excited, that's when you don't want to be in the market. When people are so excited about something, man, I'm so excited. The market's making lots of money. I'm so excited. My account's growing. I'm like, oh, let's take some profits. Let's get away for a while. So it is really a game. And the only way you can learn that game is to jump in. Now, if we would have done this seminar a month ago, we'd have been having our people jump in and lose money all month. That would have been a good lesson for them too, because if they sold, they would have, I was sold at the bottom, and they say, oh, I see what happens now. It goes back up. So you're going to have to learn to make money. You're going to have to sit with it and control fear when the economy is going down. And you're going to have to control, be willing to take profits when it's going up. That's one of the most toughest things to learn how to do as an investor, and do that. Now, you don't necessarily need to do that. You can just buy an index fund and invest your money every single month. But the returns, they're going to be okay. But you just can get much better rates of returns if you understand what strategy to apply based what's going on. People like, you're investing during coronavirus. I'm like, that's why I'm investing, because times are bad and because things are scary. That's the best time to invest, when things are scary, right? When the fear has gone away and everyone's excited, the market's way up there again. It's too late, right? So I think it's a great time. You put so many factors, and people are like, well, what president's going to win? Doesn't matter. Historically, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. It doesn't matter. Red, blue, doesn't matter. The first term, the stock market usually rises. So it doesn't matter who's in the stock market. It doesn't. Coronavirus is going to go away. It will. It's going to go away somehow. Some solution's going to happen. Human beings, we've lived through these things before. I think you have so many factors in your favor to make money, not just over the next month, but if you learn this stuff over the next 3, 5, and 6, and 7 years, we could have good 7 years in the market. If you have a high financial IQ, you can make a lot of money. And then guess what's going to happen again? Another crash is going to come, right? Everyone's going to, I'm so scared, I'm selling. I'm like, all right, let's get back in again. And then I'm going to get really aggressive, right? So you gotta learn you have to learn to play this. And I come from no financial background. My parents never traded stocks. Those words were I never heard those words. We didn't know what these things are. So, if Curtis Wall Street Carroll can do it in San Quentin and teach himself to read, right? I taught myself this stuff just by doing it, by jumping in, and I didn't know this stuff. Now I didn't have the tools. There was no. We have so many tools and so many people and so many things, ways to learn this stuff. And fortunately, you can even start with a small amount of money. So, I encourage people, learn this stuff. Learn this stuff. We were having a conversation just before. There's a company called FedEx. Ever heard of FedEx? Okay. So I mentioned it yesterday that I had large positions on FedEx. Okay. I woke this morning, I made 30% rate of return on FedEx. The stock made 1.8% and I made 30%, okay, on FedEx. Well, why would I buy FedEx, first of all, right? It's because we're now in a pandemic world. That means this is the first Christmas ever where everything's going to be done online. So all the Christmas shopping that we're normally doing and things like that, it's all going to go online. Well, who's shipping those packages? It's FedEx. So companies like that, it goes, first of all, I want to know, why would I buy the stock, first of all? Okay. Now, maybe I'll buy the stock, but maybe I'll buy a call option. But the most of the money is going to be between now and Christmas, right? You would think. We just came out of a downturn in the economy. So anyways, just understanding the factors out there, and knowing, sometimes it's better to buy the stock. Sometimes you might want to buy a stock option or something like that if you see an opportunity. So, and then in the future, you can make money when the economy goes up, and you can make money when it goes down. So, not a conversation we want to have at this point or for quite a long time. But you can also bet down on companies too if you think those companies aren't going to do well. So there's just a lot. There's a lot out there, and this is what wealthy people learn. They grow up with the language of money. They grow up around this stuff. Their children know what stock options are at 16 years old. They probably bought them before, and that's what. And if you look at people who grew up with no money, here's what they do know. They know what a checking account is. They know what a savings account is. They know how their credit cards work. Why is that's a problem, right? Because all those three things make banking corporations wealthy. So if your person just knows, I know how to put my money in my checking account, it's safe. In my savings account, it's safe. I got my credit card, my good credit score. That's the lowest level of financial literacy, right? You need to start raising that financial literacy. And I think this is an opportunity to do it with a small amount and start learning the language of money and learning to, just like me, become a sophisticated investor. When I knew nothing, I said, I don't know what that is, but that's where I want to be, because I don't want to have to work for money anymore, right?
You thought about this, you are the Wall Street of Canada.
What's that?
I said, I just thought about this. You're the Wall Street of.
I guess so.
Started as the Wall Street of San Quentin. You're the Wall Street of Canada. So that's a good mix there.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, Jordan. If you could put that information back up there, we corrected the date, but it's this coming Saturday, 2 p.m. Zoom information will come out on all our platforms by the end of the day, early business day tomorrow. With that registration information, it's just simple. Me going there and clicking that and getting that registered for you to be able to sign up. This is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of it. Mark, we're not going to hold your time today because we're looking forward to you schooling us on Saturday. So we're looking forward to you schooling us on Saturday. So we're going to let you go. We're going to close in a word of prayer. We're going to pray for everyone's finances. We're going to thank God for Mark. We're going to thank God for you tuning with. Thank you for tuning back here on Hurt for Hurting platform, YouTube and Facebook, and forward to that conversation via Zoom on Wednesday. Excuse the angles that took place here. The sun came out soon as we got going, and it was heating up the computer. That's why I was having a bad signal, so we had to kind of switch up there a little bit. Thank you, Mark, again. Thank you all for listening. Please like this page, share this page. That helps with our algorithms. Excuse me. It helps with our algorithm. So please make sure you do that, or have the show up. Share this, like this on Start a Watch Party, and then look out for the information to sign up on Zoom this coming Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Mountain time, 4 p.m. Central time, and 5 p.m. Eastern time. I would be amiss if I did not say go Lakers. Getting ready to take down the old Heat. on starting this Wednesday. So we'll have something to look forward to, a 2-0 lead to celebrate at the same time when we meet on Saturday. Thanks again for tuning in. Be with us on tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, 1 o'clock, as we will talk with Jeremy Chardy, a member of Mount Sinai Church and a dear friend, about the importance of creators controlling their content. And then Wednesday, IVF in Faith with Erica Hardy. And then on Thursday, Theological Thursday with Pastor Wayne C. Cooper, pastor of the Lincoln Baptist Church in Pasadena, California. Let's pray. Father, we're grateful and we're thankful for another chance, another opportunity to come to you and believe in prayer. We pray that you would help us to be Proverbs 3, 9, and 10 people that honor you with our wealth and with first fruits while our increase, so that our barns will be filled with plenty and our vats will be bursting with wine. Thank you for Mark. Thank you for the skills, talents, courage that you've invested into him that's manifest. We pray that it be helpful for your kingdom, to be wise in our resources and guard our heart against fear and greed. All these things we pray for Jesus' sake. Amen. All right. Thank y'all. See you on tomorrow. We out.
Good seeing you again.